For Monday, February 12th, 2024. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Bowman. Mr. Mercado's here. Mr. Dawson. Mrs. Downs. Here. Mr. Caderas. Mr. Kurtz.
Here.
Mr. Natale. Here. Mr. Strollo. Mr. Selma. Here. Mr. Affey. Here. Ms. Blake. Here. Mr. Hilsingham. Here. We have quorum.
Okay, will Commissioner Public please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first order of business tonight is application from Sarah Massey for cottage food operation at 195 Timber Lane. Do we have the call for that?
Application for a special permit on behalf of Sarah Massey, applicant owner. Applicant is requesting a special permit for a cottage food operation at the property located at 195 Timber Lane, Assessor's Map 56, Lot 38, Zoned R20.
Thank you. So what we need is your name and address for the record, and then a brief description of what's going to be happening at the place.
So my name is Sarah Massey. I live at 195 Timber Lane in Cheshire. So what I'd like to do is have a cottage food operation or a home bakery at my home. The plan at this point would be to do things like cookies, brownies, something to that extent. In terms of like any changes, like I'm not making any changes to the home. There's no changes to any of the traffic around my home or anything in that regard. Most of what I'll plan is it's any kind of deliveries, so I'm going to try and make them more in person versus having people come to my home to kind of prevent anything extra added to my neighbors and things like that.
I think in a regulation, they're not allowed to come to your home. Correct me if I'm wrong, staff, but it would be something that you could not have that option. So,
correct. Yeah, the consumer protection law or licensing requires that this type of operation that they go to the consumer does not come to their house.
okay,
And that wouldn't be a problem.
okay. And then you have this for deliveries of stuff. Is it you basically just bringing stuff into the house, like grocery supplies or?
Yeah, and in
Not
terms
much.
of anything, like if I order like boxes and things like that, they'd come through something normal like, Amazon or FedEx or something to that degree. So in terms of any kind of bulk, there wouldn't be anything different than kind of what I normally would have coming.
Okay. Commission members, questions? No? Okay. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this? No? Okay. I'm going to close this public hearing. I'm also going to quickly recess the public hearing and call to order the regular meeting for,
I don't know if she knows how it goes after there's a vote.
yeah, I'm going to recess the public hearing, which I just did. We're going to vote, get you out of here so you don't have to listen to the rest of the stuff tonight. So we have a quorum. I'm going to skip right down to, we have a motion for the cottage food industry.
Yes, you do. Motion to approve application for a special permit on behalf of Sarah Massey, applicant, requesting special permit for a cottage food operation at the property located at 195 Timber Lane, Assessor's Map 56, Lot 38, Zone R20. The commission finds that based on documents provided and presentation at the public hearing, the applicant has demonstrated compliance with the Cheshire zoning regulations. Approval is based on the plans and presentation prepared by the applicant.
Move Mr. Mercado, second by Mr. Natale. Any discussion on this motion?
No, just I like seeing these little food cottages business come in, and we welcome you and good luck.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? The motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. Mr. Fasone, if you're ready, we could take yours too, because it's that should be a pretty quick one too. Get you out of the way also.
For the record, Anthony Fazzone, representing the applicant Briad on the regular meeting agenda this evening. This is in regard to the hotel that was approved by this commission in October on Lot 2, Stonebridge Crossing. And during that public hearing, we were not totally prepared with respect to the signage and the commission wanted us to, I've used the word refine, the roof line of the building, the parapets, and they have done that. I think you've seen colored perspectives of the roof lines and the.
Yeah, we had it in our packet.
There's a larger one here if anyone needs to see it, but they're much more pronounced, and there are more jogs in the building. And with respect to the signs, there are now only going to be 3 signs. A large one that will be on the wall of the outside wall of the building as it faces 691. There'll be another one at the main entrance of the building facing Stonebridge Court, and then there'll be a medallion sign out by the driveway. Again, pictures of those, they're pretty innocuous. James Tellerico is here this evening with the applicant. If you need a more thorough description of the sign, they're a contrasting color with Homewood Suites, nated color, and then at night they're lit from the inside by LEDs, but the light goes through pinholes, so they show up exactly as you see that. There's a picture there that shows what they look like at night when they're lit.
Okay, anyone have questions on the signs or the roof lines that were not approved?
Yep.
Mr. Ricardo?
So nice job adding that and changing that skyline. It looks really nice, sign, so thank you. Good job.
Yeah, it looks good.
Quick question. This is the sign that's gonna be at the end of the driveway?
Yes.
And wasn't there a nice stone sign? Or had a stone base to it too, or?
That might have been the Stonebridge Crossing one.
I mean, maybe.
There's been a
Hard to
lot
all
of
blend
them.
together here.
And, yep, I like it too. So the signage on the building, it's going to look just like it is in the picture, Home and Suites right above the entrance.
Yeah. And just
I
the
like that better than than those huge signs. It looks good.
Yeah, they're, run them down, they'll show up, and they're nice and simple.
Okay, anyone else? Do we have a motion for these guys?
Yes. Motion to find the request consistent with the approved special development plans for Lot 2 and as per conditions of approval. Applicants provided architectural plans illustrating roof line of the building and revised signage plan for extended stay hotel on Lot 2 of Stonebridge Crossing Development. The Commission finds that based on the documents provided, an applicant has demonstrated compliance with the Cheshire zoning regulations. The approval is based on plan titled Homewood Suite Lot 2, Stonebridge Court, Cheshire, Connecticut, prepared by Prime AE with a revision date of January 25th, 2024.
Move Mr. Ricardo, second by Mr. Natale. Discussion on this motion? Seems pretty straightforward, looks nice. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Mr. Hilsinger is abstaining, so the motion carries 8-0-1. With that, I will now recess the regular meeting and reopen the public hearing to hear the business of 1, 2, and 3, which is the North End School for the Town of Cheshire. Can we hear the call for that, please?
Yep.
I'm sorry, no, it's actually, it's under continued business 1, 2, 3, if you look at the, if you look at it.
Okay. I think this is right. Application for special permit on behalf of Town of Cheshire applicant Will Walter, P.E. Applicant is requesting a special permit pursuant to Section 30, Schedule A of the zoning regulations for a school located on Marion Road, Assessors Map 26, Lot 16, Zone R40. Application for a site 3, application for site plan approval on behalf of the town of Cheshire. Applicant Will Walter, agent. Applicant is requesting a site plan approval per Section 30, Schedule A of the zoning regulations for a school located on Marion Road, Assessors Map 26, Lot 16, R40. 4, application for earth removal, filling, or regrading permit on behalf of the town of Cheshire. Applicant Will Walter, agent. Applicant is requesting a permit pursuant to Section 25 of the zoning regulations for earth removal, filling, or regrading for the property located on Marion Road, Assessors Map 26, Lot 16, Zone R40.
Thank you, and representing the applicant tonight?
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. Justin Hopkins from Tecton Architects. We're the architects of record for the application with offices in Hartford, Connecticut. With me tonight is Jeff Wazinski, the principal in charge at Tecton. We also have representatives from Benesh, Will Walter, the civil engineer, Ryan Dean, the landscape architect, and Chris Van Zanten, the traffic engineer. We also have the chair of the Next Generation School Building Committee, Richard Gussenberg, who may be able to answer any questions as they pertain to the committee's work. We also have Dr. Jeff Solon, the superintendent of the schools, and COO Vincent Massiana. Got that right, Vin. Thank you. They are here to be able to address any operational questions as they may arise for the school. So the last time we were in front of this commission was 3 weeks ago. We just want to go over, understanding the meeting that we had. We felt it was very important that we made sure that we were coordinating with the town staff departments, addressing any open comments, etc. So, quick agenda. We want to just go over the process from our January 22nd meeting. We also want to go over the February 8th supplemental submission documents, go over our response to comments, go over the plan revisions as they pertain to the February 8th submission, and then get into comment discussion. Obviously, this is a public hearing, so we expect to hear from members of the public. So since our meeting 3 weeks ago, we quickly had a follow-up discussion with the town planner, Mr. Glidden. We also went over the commission's comments at our Thursday, January 25th, Next Generation School Building Committee meeting, just to make sure that we were in alignment with the considerations that we were looking at for the site plan. We've had numerous correspondence with the CPD traffic unit in terms of specifically of pedestrian access, sidewalks, and locations of the considerations at the intersections. We had a all-staff meeting on January 30th, the following week of our last meeting, and that culminated in the revised documents that you have before you tonight. So within that supplemental submission, we have the revised plan set. We also have the revised stormwater management report, and we have a supplemental documentation packet, which is the bound packet that you received. Within that, we have the updated development narrative, the supplemental traffic analysis that was requested at our last meeting, the updated application. For the record, the application incorrectly checked that the health district, the Chespercott Health District, was not an application or not a required approver of this application. As part of our school construction grants application, we're required to go before the health department for our food service delivery, our commercial kitchen and cafeteria. So that is all part, we included it as part of the supplemental documentation. That what's called a pre-bid conformance review checklist. We're required to get authorization from all authorities having jurisdiction within the town and the district prior to even going out to bid. So that's something that is certainly on our radar. We also have the North End transportation map that was provided by the Cheshire Public Schools. We also have the traffic study aerial, and we have in Appendix F the response to comments. This application first became a public application as part of the IWWC with a submission in November 2023. So there's been a number of received comments and formal comment responses. So within the response to comments, we have January 5th response to engineering review. We have 3 responses from January 15th from both planning and 2 from engineering. We have a January 23rd response to WPC review, and ultimately, finally, the response to engineering review of February 8th. So that is the first item that is in Appendix F, and that is going to be the focus of what we would like to review with you today. So understanding that these updated documents were issued Thursday, we've been in communication with staff. We felt that it would be prudent to highlight the areas that we've addressed with the permission of the commission. And as long as that nobody objects to that, we can certainly get into that. Okay, on the screen are really the big items that we've addressed. This is a graphic representation of what's in your documents that you have before you. We wanted to graphically show this to demonstrate to the commission the areas that we have addressed in the updated documents. First, the grading from Marion we had a lot of discussion about the severity of the slope from Marion down to our parent pickup and drop off and bus pickup and drop off. And we had some areas that were in the 9 to 10% range the last time we were before this commission. We've been able to modify the grading of the site to achieve a slope of 7.5% to our parent pickup and drop off towards the South Marion Drive, and 6.7% from the North Marion Drive. And that's the drive that our buses and our loading, our service entry is. We've also had extensive discussion about the sidewalk infrastructure connecting this site to the public at large. The areas that are highlighted in pink are the areas where we are showing sidewalks from Marion and from Jarvis. The purpose of connecting both at Jarvis and the North Marion lot is to get pedestrians or students that are coming to our school, coming to the property, to get them on the property as soon as possible. So for that reason, we're showing a sidewalk extending on our property to the north, as well as a sidewalk extending up to the intersection of Jarvis and Marion. Another consideration that was requested of this application was our connection of our pre-K parking area to the larger parking area, our main parking area. We have provided a paved area between the two parking lots. In the event of the occasional, all kindergarten family event or concert or open house. For day-to-day operation, it is highly critical that we keep that entrance to the pre-K wing separate, but we do understand both from the occasional larger event, but also emergency response, that we should be connecting those parking lots. So that's the area that's highlighted in blue. Just need to get a drink. Thank you. So I'm going to read from the February 8th in your packet under Appendix F. There are a series of responses that by and large cover the open staff comments, but also comments that we had at the commission level. So again, this is from February 8th, Plan Revisions, North End School. The first several bullet items address the grading from Marion Road. lowering the grade at the northern drive from 8.5% to 6.7%, lowering the southern drive from 10% to 7.5%. That's actually 7.7. The new drive connection between the early childhood or the pre-kindergarten area to the broader parking area. The next bullet item, we had a request to model the turning movements. That is part of your plan packet. Yes, my apologies. It's Appendix F, the first page, page 72 within your document. The turning movements are demonstrated on sheets C5.0 through C5.3. From coordination with the Cheshire Fire Department, we modeled the largest apparatus to make sure that we are able to accommodate that on the site. We mentioned the sidewalk that has been added to the north side of the northern Marion Road site drive. That's both graphically illustrated here, but also on sheet L1.0. We mentioned the sidewalk added to the north side of Jarvis Street up to the intersection. So on the north side of Jarvis, our sidewalk, we're providing two crosswalks, one directly at the Jarvis Street, Jarvis entrance, and one up at the intersection of Jarvis and Marion. Our traffic engineer can talk about this, but through coordination with traffic control, there was a request for some rapid response flashing beacons at the pedestrian crossing at the new site drive on Jarvis Street. That's indicated on sheet L1.0. We also clearly, we had a cutoff on the drawing sheet showing the existing driveways on the west side of Marion Road. Those are more clearly shown in the drawings. That's on sheet L1.0, and I'll just go to share that screen. As part of the sewer, the excuse me. As part of the WPC review, there were comments regarding our hardscape basketball court over our sanitary line easement. That has now been shifted so that we don't have any structures within that easement. We're also showing on sheet L1.0 the outlines of the buses and cars, the ability to queue up all of the buses on site, as well as 43 vehicles out to Marion. So between parking and vehicle queuing, we're able to accommodate 122 drop-off vehicles. There was a comment about, with these grading revisions, Banesh had also revised the earthwork moving volumes. The current design will result in approximately 60,000 cubic yards of earth moving on site, with an import of approximately 19,000 cubic yards of hardscape, concrete building, slab footings, and processed aggregate. As written in the response, the site has been designed to be balanced, so no import of common fill will be required. There was a request to provide 24-hour traffic counts. Those are part of the supplemental traffic analysis. And Mr. Van Zanten will be able to answer any questions related to that. We mentioned the transportation zone map that the schools have provided. This is the Cheshire Public Schools work product showing the new North End Elementary School illustration of walking and transportation zones. So based on the actual numbers of students of February 6, 2024. So within the walking zone, there are 33 students currently in the mapped area. And within the transportation zone, there are currently 78 Cheshire students that are mapped in the area. So as part of the school's analysis, they've also highlighted existing sidewalks and what they deem as future sidewalk priorities. We should also note that the application has been updated to allow for the residential parcel on Jarvis Street. that is to become part of this project, and that is now incorporated into the overall application. A couple of items that were brought up in our meeting. There was a question or a comment to explore potentially lowering Marion Road in order to get us to a more beneficial grade from Marion Road. We feel like we accomplished a more sensitive slope from Marion down to our project site in a more cost-effective way. We just simply don't find that lowering Marion Road is a feasible option, and we feel like we have been able to address that comment. There was also a question about consideration, and this was in the global conversation of parking for, say, an all-school assembly, which I'm going to go back to the illustrated plan. There was a question about investigating basically mirroring of our building footprint to provide the pre-kindergarten area to the north of the site. Should be noted that the layout, the orientation on the site has been reviewed, vetted with both the school, public schools, as well as the Next Generation School Building Committee. And what we didn't mention at the last meeting was there are a number of benefits to showing the pre-kindergarten wing, so to speak, in the southeastern portion of the site plan. One of which is just due to the natural shape or geometry of the site, we do have some wetlands that are near the southeastern portion of the site, which creates a geometry of usable area. It actually allows us to separate the pre-kindergarten kids pretty sensitively on the site. These are age populations that we want to make sure that they're not commingling with the fifth graders and the sixth graders, who understandably have a larger area for both play and recreation. So the way that the building footprint is situated on the site allows for those play areas for our older kids more to the north and the northeast of the site, and allows us to tuck our pre-kindergarten population in the area that's closest to where their classrooms are. So from a site organizational and programmatic way, this actually works pretty well. There was also a question about the potential for expanding the width of Marion Road to mitigate new traffic. We looked with our traffic engineer regarding the peak volumes. Ultimately, we found, and Chris can certainly speak to this if there are any additional questions, but the widening of Marion Road is not as desirable because it is anticipated that the wider travel lane width would result in increased speeds along Marion Road. Providing the shared through left turn movements on Marion Road at the site driveways will provide a traffic calming effect on Marion Road and Jarvis Street during the peak school traffic periods. There was a question regarding, by the way, feel free to stop me if you have any questions. I'm almost through the response comments, so I appreciate your patience. There was a question about speed tables on Marion Road and Jarvis Street. There are a couple of factors that we want to consider. Emergency response, typically providing these speed tables necessitates some additional time for emergency vehicles. Chris had mentioned at that meeting, our last meeting, the noise commonly with vehicles traveling. Maintenance, drainage are all considerations that ultimately we felt this application, due to the anticipated traffic, we do not feel like it's an appropriate incorporation. There was also a request for the aerial traffic map. This was shared on the screen last time. That is now part of your supplemental packet. One item to note through our conversations with the fire department, instead of bollards, removable bollards at some of our areas for emergency response vehicles. We're incorporating click-to-enter gates, so that's something that is a standard within Cheshire, and we have incorporated that into our plan. So with that, I'm happy to share any of the plans, bring up any of our consultants to answer any questions. We do understand that we provided the supplemental packet on Thursday. We fully anticipate further coordination with the town staff, and we welcome the opportunity. So with that, thank you.
So you're going to take questions now, and then if we need to, we're going to bring in some of the professionals to speak about it.
Yes.
One question I have first on the sidewalk plan. I know you can't speak to the future sidewalk plan, but if you told us that there's going to be sidewalks on the site, specifically where the buses were to drive in, I'm just saying because it's under the same yellow that it would be that Marion Road is on, and my question, I guess, is that future after the school is built at some point you're going to put that in, or are you representing that you're going to have where the pink area is, those sidewalks will be put in with this school?
The areas that we're showing in the pink will be proposed as part of this application for the school.
Okay. And the only reason why I ask is because you have the yellow, like all of Marion Road and all of Jarvis Street is all in yellow as a future. And I know the town, or I don't know if Solon or whoever's going to speak to that, but it's also on your site, which probably shouldn't be yellow. That's going to be, that's part of the application itself.
So you're referencing this?
That
Okay,
there, where
all right.
that's yellow. I mean, to me, you said that it was going to be on the plan of the school. So I don't think those should be yellow. They should be, yes, those are going to be put in place.
Yes, this, if I wasn't clear prior, this is the work product of the school department to indicate, as they're looking at a high level, their students that may be walking to this school. I can tell you the areas that we showed in pink are what are part of this application. So those pink areas show what is shown here in yellow on this property.
Okay. Mr. Natale, and then I'll bounce around.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to bear with me. I literally did not have a voice to speak at the last hearing, so I got my
That's
voice
right.
back. So I took a ride up there again today. I just wanted to look at the area. And, obviously there's a bunch of concerns about the sidewalk and the accessibility. I was looking at, sorry, I have my phone because I took a bunch of notes. So Pond Edge, which is just past Courier Woods, no access there for sidewalks, so the kids would have to walk on Marion or on Jarvis Street. Courier Woods, I think that you referenced it on one of the maps here. There is a gap from where the sidewalk ends going to Courier Woods, so that would need to be addressed. There's no sidewalks obviously going to Strollo Court. When I looked at Marion Road, so where you have the proposed sidewalk to the edge of the property, after that on that side of the street, there's a guardrail that goes right up to the street, a metal guardrail. So the kids would have to walk on the other side, and that slope on those people's properties on that side, it's really not conducive to the kids walking over. Then you go a little further where I see the proposed sidewalk. I know that'd be drainage issues, and have to go to wetlands because there is a little drainage retention near McKinley, I believe it was, just past Balsam. So that would have to be addressed. And I do have concerns about the kids getting to school safely. When we do take a vote, depending on everything else that we hear, I'm probably going to make a motion to amend whatever motion it is that we do go for approval, that the CO is held up until either the town puts in sidewalks or the school comes with a definitive plan that the buses are going to stop here, 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 and here to keep the kids safe. So that's something that I will most likely be putting forward.
It might be
Again-
a good time if you guys want to address the sidewalk situation for us at this time. Yeah.
And I do have, I'm sorry.
I'm sure there's. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's good. And Michael, for staff, who is our town council liaison?
Greg Wolf.
Where's Greg Wolf? Okay, so my question would be then for the town council, what are the plans for sidewalks? Are they going to put them for a referendum? Is there money to build sidewalks? So if Mr. Wolf can maybe come to one of our meetings, or Mr. Talbot, or, you know, whoever the appropriate person would be
So-
to address that with us.
I can speak to just a portion of that. The town engineer has, they're developing a sidewalk policy. They have their ADA transition plan, which will be going to the council in March, which is related to this. And also, they've been looking at gaps in the existing sidewalk network. There was a gap that we've talked about that's on Jarvis Street, which was identified as an area to fill it in. So there is some money in the budget to do some of these projects, but you're correct. That's a capital question for the council on long-term sidewalk plan.
Maybe for our next meeting, we can possibly get somebody from the council here.
So here's the
Or
catch.
liaison?
Here's the catch. We're kind of teetering at a position where you're discussing
improvements.
off-site improvements, which legally you have no jurisdiction to do.
No,
But we're part of the town, and the town should prerequisite set up an area that they're gonna put a school in, knowing this, way ahead before it even gets here. Before this group came up to us, the town should have this addressed. This is the town not doing what they're supposed to do, right? We're going backwards here. We're putting in a school with no sidewalks, and they're going, maybe we'll do it later on. It's asinine. The town's gotta step up and fix this. Whoever's in the town is determining this.
So with that,
We might get some answers here too, so let's let them
Mr. Massiano's going to speak too. I have one more question for staff. So in the presentation at the last meeting, we heard that the 85th percentile speed on Marion Road is 42 miles an hour. It's fast, 25-mile-an-hour zone. There is a traffic study. I know that the chief of police has asked for a traffic study. We've asked for a comprehensive traffic study. Went before town council. Town council didn't approve or give funding for a comprehensive traffic study. We have a traffic study. Can that be referred over to the police department to see what they can do to help lower the speeds, especially since they're going to have kids potentially walking, and regardless if there's sidewalks or not, they're still going to be crossing over Marion Road. So I think that, you know, we need to hear from the police department and see if they can come up with a plan, or if they have a plan to address the concerns. Because again, licensed engineers for the applicant have given us a pretty good traffic study. I won't say pretty good, I'll say a good traffic study, indicating those speeds are way too high for that road.
You know, Vinny's gonna speak, he might be able to address this, but on the sidewalk on the north end, there's a wooden guardrail. Is there a reason that's on the opposite side of the driveway? Wouldn't you wanna separate the children from the vehicles and put that in between to make them feel safer? Or is that a standard state code? Just question.
Do you want us, do you want us to answer that question now, or do you want Vin to answer the?
Let's let Mr. Massiano speak.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Vin Massiano, the Chief Operating Officer for the Cheshire Public Schools. And I did put this map together. One of my responsibilities is transportation for the school district. When you look at this map, if you could just imagine the yellow lines aren't there for a moment, because, you know, without those yellow lines, this map represents today. The blue sidewalk area, which is along Marion Road and down Jarvis, that sidewalk exists today. And so what I attempted to do when I put together this map is, if the new building were open today, and we don't have the sidewalks that are outlined in yellow, the only students that would be walking to school would be the 29 students that are in Currier Woods. Now that's enrollment as of today. Obviously, 3 years from now, that's going to shift. But I'm just trying to illustrate, if it were open today, this school, we would have 29 walkers from Currier Woods and 4 walkers that are along that sidewalk area that exists on Marion Road. All those other students, again, they're actuals today, that are in the orange circles, those students would receive transportation because there isn't a walking area that's suitable for them. And so if we look forward to 3 years, if those sidewalks don't exist, we will transport those students. If those sidewalks are added, and let's say sidewalk is added from, you know, Dundee up Jarvis, then those students in that area, it's about 35 students, could walk to the sidewalks, and then walk to school. They would be within the radius. So the
Just a-
fact that there are or aren't sidewalks doesn't necessarily mean we will or won't provide transportation. It depends on what we're going to be looking at. And I'll just add one more point. I drew these yellow lines based on the number of students. Whether or not sidewalks can be installed, if there are drainage or other road conditions like steep slopes or a pond, it may not be practical. So my map was not taking into consideration the actual site engineering. It was based on what would we do from a transportation point of view.
With that being said, where Mr. Natale said that the sidewalks don't go all the way to Courier Woods, there's a large gap on the Marion Road. It's probably 50 yards. I mean, I didn't go out there, but I've driven that road many a times.
We're
Where
prioritizing
on the
that
west
one-
side,
that
the
one-
west entrance of
Yeah.
Courier Woods, there's a large gap with nope, on the other side.
Yeah, that's where,
Yeah, where you talk about, I mean, it looks to me like a lot of fill would have to be put in there. But from the entrance of Courier Woods, it's probably about 40 yards. I mean, I haven't been out there in a while, but it's a long 40, 50 yards. I think there's a home there, right? Is there a couple homes there?
yeah.
And the sidewalk just sort of stops. It stops almost by Huckins Road, right where Huckins is. It just stops, and you could tell that there's
Yeah, so this is Huckins Road.
yep.
Are you saying that?
It does not connect to Courier Woods. If you were leaving Courier Woods out of that entrance, you'd walk on Marion Road a good 50 yards until you got to the sidewalk.
And
The
then-
sidewalk just ends.
And then just additionally on Jarvis, also, there's still that gap between where the sidewalk ends and where the entrance is.
That's an easy fix. I can see the
But
other
it's-
one
but
is
again,
not.
we can't
I know, I
say
know.
that the town has to do it, or it's not part of this project because it's off-site. So to say that 29 kids are gonna be in that walking area, you're saying that 29 kids are not gonna have a sidewalk there's a gap in the sidewalk there.
We would provide transportation in that case. And I would assume, and there's been discussions, as has been mentioned, with the town manager and with the town council about, adding sidewalks. But, what I can state is if there's not a good walk for the students, we will provide transportation until that time that there is. And I do think that we could solve certainly the sidewalk issues along Marion and Jarvis for Courier Woods. And it looks like this sidewalk area should work. I'm not sure about the Marion Road going north.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna tag off of something that Mr. Mercado said. So we're at the public hearing, second public hearing for this school. The only time that sidewalks came up is when this commission brought them up. How in the planning process for the past few years has nobody thought to include sidewalks in the plans that were presented to us? Not saying you didn't think about them, but in the plans that were presented to us, how did that not happen until this commission brought it up?
It's been discussed outside of this commission. I understand it wasn't part of the planning and zoning submission because it is outside of the site property, and I don't know, if there's, somebody wants to add to that.
But to me, with him saying that takes the burden away from us, if we, eventually, if we approve this school, the transportation will be provided. That's good enough to me. I heard it from you. It's on the record. It has to be done until such sidewalks are put in the way they should be, the way they really should be.
Yeah.
But, that's good enough for me. I'm sure it's good enough for the commission. I don't know if anyone else doesn't have it that way,
I
but.
do have a question. In your policy, it says, in our policy, a student walking route may be paved or unpaved, so a lack of sidewalks does not translate into automatic determination. What determines that you say that on Marion that's unsafe? Is it slope? How do you make that determination?
It would be on the site conditions, whether or not there's an area where students could walk if there's no sidewalk. If you think about, many of our side streets, which Marion and Jarvis, those are more major roads for us, but many of the side streets where, there are no sidewalks, but it's a quiet street and there's grass where a student can walk, that wouldn't be considered hazardous. So it is a judgment that we make. We always err on the side of caution and safety, for the students. And it's not just walking to the school, but the same policy and approach applies to students walking from their home to the nearest bus stop that they're assigned.
But with what you just said now, without a significant change or a sidewalk being put in, none of these kids in that area that does not have a sidewalk will ever be changed until it has a sidewalk to walkers.
Right, everything that's in orange, those would be
As of
students that are
today,
being
like in 2, 3,
transported.
5 years down the road, sidewalks are not put in. It's not someone else coming in here saying, well, no, we think it's safe now. It's because you're saying it right now. It's on, I guess, the Board of Ed or the town. I don't know who's responsible for it, but these kids will never walk until there's a sidewalk put in this area. I think that would satisfy this commission.
And you have that 1
That is
mile.
my testimony, and
And you have a 1 mile ring where on here you're showing part of a 0.7 mile ring. So we'll get a full map with the 1 mile and all those kids in there.
yeah, the 1 mile,
Must.
you know, we showed the, 0.5 and 0.75. If you extend it out to a mile, those are, as of today, those would all be students that would have transportation. And the mile is a
But per
guideline.
the policy, that's not true. And like what the chairman just said, if there's new people that come into place and they decide.
Doesn't matter.
"Oh,
It's
no,
stated in
it's
a
good."
public hearing. This is what they're going to do. This is what they have to do. They cannot change it. Am
No.
I wrong?
Chairman, what I'm saying is this is a partial map. It's not that 1 mile ring what's in their policy. So are you just saying what's on this image?
No. What I do you really think they're going to make the
Yeah.
outside 3/4 or 1/4 of a mile start walking? And I mean,
Okay.
So I just want to say, Mr. Messiaen, you're a man of your word. I know that.
Yeah.
You never steered me wrong in the past. So if you're telling us that's what it's going to be, everything that's in yellow will be bussed until at some point in the future there's sidewalks. And just for clarity, the 29 kids at Courier Woods, unless a sidewalk is provided, they will also be bussed. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
you want to add to that?
That's the answer, so there's nothing.
excuse me, sir. You need to use the microphone.
That's the answer, so I really don't have much to add. I mean, the only thing I would indicate is that this situation plays itself out all over the town, where students may be within a walking zone, but we bus them either within the walking zone of the school or within proximity to a stop. We work very closely with the Cheshire Police Department. We evaluate the location, the conditions, and then make a determination. I can't say that this would forever be the case. I mean, if the town changes the road and there's no more traffic on Marion, might we say kids should walk? Then maybe, I don't foresee that happening, but, certainly our goal is safety first. And so right now, we don't believe it would be safe for any children to be walking to school along Marion. So we will bus them even if they live 2 minutes from the school. So that's our plan. It's the plan at the North End School. It's the plan at every single school we have in Cheshire, where we're going to bus you if it's not safe for you to be a walker, and that's clearly the case here.
One question on the policy.
Sure.
So when my daughter went to Highland,
Yeah.
we were within the walking zone, but the bus stopped literally outside of our house. I still had to fill out a form every year to go to the transportation to Luther to say, hey, it's a petition to get her on that bus. Are these people going to have to do the same thing, or are we saying that absolutely these are going to be bussed?
Vin, I think we probably could, if it's an established,
If it's a walking zone and you're.
Hey, can you come out to the microphone? Sorry.
If it's, these students would not be in a walking zone right now, the ones in orange. So, they would not need to do anything. Transportation will be provided. If the opposite is, I think what you're saying, you were in a walking zone and you filled out a petition for an available seat. And if there was one and it was accommodated, then.
And it was, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay.
yeah, I think that's the difference, is the walking zone or not. And we're saying this is not a walking zone. It's a busing zone until conditions substantially change, hopefully with sidewalks.
Great. That was exactly what we wanted to hear
Thank you,
tonight.
folks.
So, any other questions for anyone for, I'm sorry, Mr. Affey?
Yeah, just really quick. The yellow is going to be the city's responsibility to build the town.
It would be, yeah, the site improvements, that's an off-site improvement.
Okay.
So it would be, and we've had conversations with the town manager about that all along, over the last couple of years, and he's certainly conscious of that.
I think the pink area.
Yeah, I was going to ask tonight. The pink is in the project, right?
Yeah, the yellow is the off-site stuff. The pink is in the project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just to clarify, because these were developed, this image was developed prior to the conversation about sidewalks on the site. There's a portion of what's shown in yellow here that is part of this application, and those are the sidewalks that are contained within the parcel of the application.
You were gonna answer the question about the guardrail spacing.
Yes, Will? Do you want to go to the actual plan or this? Okay.
Yep. Will Walter, PE for the record. If I understand the question correctly. Yep, okay, great. So that drive coming down, it's at a lesser grade than the existing grade, so we have to fill, and you can see all the contours on the north side. So we're pushing out that road, and then we have a sidewalk that's right adjacent to the curb, and that guardrail is, the intent of that guardrail is not to separate the walkers from the buses. It's because there's a drop-off. Now, it's a 3-to-1 drop-off, so you can mow a 3-to-1 slope. So, but nonetheless, we felt it was prudent to protect the kids from going off the edge. There's no code, to my knowledge, that requires us to separate the sidewalk from a curb on a site drive. However, that being said, we can certainly put a 2 or 3 foot grass strip there. If the commission would like that, we'd be more than happy to do that.
Yeah, I think that'd be great, just for the peace of mind of the children that might be walking on there or playing on there, to have some separation when the buses are coming and going in the mornings.
Sure, no, we'll make that
Good.
modification.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other commission members?
Yep, Ms. Towns.
Non-traffic question?
Yeah, no, he went through everything, so anything that he went through.
I know that at the last meeting, Mr. Bowman asked a question about how many truckloads of fill, and when I was reading over, it didn't state that. I actually don't have my plans with me. I left them on my kitchen table, so I don't have the notes I made, but there was,
Just to divide it.
oh, okay.
Will can answer that question for you.
Because I can't do dirt to truckloads, but that's, I guess, something you guys would do.
16 yards.
So as you can see, on a 20 or 25 acre disturbance here, there's quite a bit of earth moving going on. Now, we're designing the site to be a balanced site, meaning that we don't want to have to import common fill. All right. And so what we've estimated with our software, with the plan that you're looking at, is there's going to be about 60,000 cubic yards of earth moving on site, meaning they're going to take it from one area and they're going to separate it in stockpiles, and then they're going to move it to another area. So that 60,000 yards is not truckloads coming in or truckloads going out. That is just moving around on the site. And I think your concern is probably the amount of trucks coming to and from the site and driving through the local roads. So that 60,000 yards will be what's moving around on site. That won't be leaving or coming. There's about 19,000 cubic yards of fill material coming in, things such as asphalt, concrete, aggregate stone base, crushed stone, things of that nature, which we just don't have on site, obviously, so we have to bring those in. So 19,000 cubic yards, about 20 cubic yards is one truckload, 20 or 25 cubic yards. So in my head I'm doing the math, so 19,000 divided by 20 is 1,900 divided by 2 is, call it 1,000. 1,000 trucks bringing in all the materials for the pavement, the building slab, all the stone beneath it, all the concrete sidewalk, things of that nature.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, just a quick follow-up question for the trucks that are going to be coming in. There's a lot of trucks. I know that there was a development that we approved further up Jarvis, and there was concern about the hours that they're going to be operating, interfering with the current school buses, going to the current schools before this opens. Any guidelines about when the trucks will be operating, which direction they're going to be coming in, what roads they're going to be using?
I think in that last development, we had talked about not starting until 9 o'clock due to the school buses and kids waiting for the bus and being safe of having dump trucks coming back and forth, dumping loads and rocks falling off and whatnot. So to be safe, the kids should all be in school before those trucks start moving on our roads.
Okay, I'm trying to think of other conditions that we've had on other school. I mean, commonly those type of trucks show up before school starts on site sometimes, but
As long as it's not during the students at the bus stops, that's fine. And it's not early enough where it's disturbing the neighborhood. I don't know. I don't think we have sound ordinances or anything, but
No,
we
we-
did that for a couple developments.
You're talking about the excavation operation that was on Moss Farms Road? Yeah.
Pulling, because all the
Remember that-
trees
so-
and the dirt being pulled out of there.
So remember, that was an export project, so it was a little different than this, where they're getting material brought into the site, which most likely would be coming from.
And clean.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
building materials.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you
No,
can
no,
It
that's
sounds like
restrict that.
a thousand seems like a large number, but also remember, as the
It's over
architect
time.
kind of indicated, it's different activities. It's
Okay.
not just
Fair enough.
1,000 yards of soil. It's going to
Right.
be aggregate. It's going to be there'll be some sand that comes in for shading of pipes. I mean, like this, there's different activities that are occurring. So it is spread out throughout the project at 1,000 truckloads of material that come in. So it would be managed. It's in their best interest to manage and coordinate the deliveries.
You got people
Yeah.
that start work at a certain time. You really can't restrict that. That's
No,
that's-
I remember that now because they were pulling so much stuff out of there.
And the other thing too, remember, that was in a dense or denser neighborhood. This area really, you're at the fringe of an area that's zoned industrial. You have really not a lot of residential homes in the immediate vicinity of this site. So with that and all the management practices they can do for the deliveries, I think it sounds like it's a large number, but it really isn't when you look at the totality of the activity.
You sold me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Anyone want to listen to any of the specialists that happen to be here? Any direct questions for them? No? All right, and is that all your,
That's, we
presentation
felt
tonight?
it was important to address all of the questions, all of the concerns that came up at the last
Okay.
meeting.
I'm going to go to the public. Anyone from the public wishing to speak, ask questions on this application? I just need you to come up to the microphone, name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Trevor Williams, 1005 Moss Farms Road. Just a quick follow-up about some of the comments regarding the recent development near the corner of Jarvis and Moss Farms. Those 4 parcels, if I recall. I live across the street from them, and I can assure you that there was a lot of activity all through. Coming and going.
He was referring to another site that was off of Jarvis Street,
Okay.
right? And Jarvis and Moss Farms, you're talking about the hill?
Both of those
They
are
took out
being
the hill there?
discussed simultaneously, so I wasn't exactly sure where the
It was
delineations were being made
four
there.
or 5 homes that were done on the hill, at the
Pinnacle,
corner
yeah,
of,
right, yeah. I live across
It's,
the
you know,
street
it's
from
another
them.
project, so we're not gonna, if you have a
enough.
problem with that, you could take it up with the planning department.
Understood. I just know that there was a mention earlier, I believe by Mr. Mercado, about the fact that there should have been a 9 a.m. cutoff or something to that effect, or?
No, we did put that on them, or supposedly they were supposed to do that because of the students in there bringing so much trees and dirt and everything
Right.
out of there, grading it down. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure that I heard you correctly in that, because I had a very different experience with them. Mr. Van Sant, you might be able to talk a little bit more about this. Regarding regarding options for traffic slowing measures along Marion, what currently is within the town's purview for changes that could be made, and how far out along Marion would we be able to make changes to the roadway? Would we be able to put in things such as neck downs at intersections, replacing intersections with roundabouts? Would that be able to go as far out as the Southington line, or would we be able to impact, say, things at Nodder? I know that the geography on the southern half of Marion there is not particularly conducive to much. It's very narrow, very tight to a lot of the properties there. There's a lot of very steep terrain in that area in particular. Some of the comments earlier regarding the proposed future sidewalks and exactly how viable those are, I think also lends to that. So
A lot of those questions are not really going to be addressed, and I mean the safety aspect was addressed, and those kids will be bused. But as far as the off-site improvements on Marion Road, which I totally agree with you on, that's really not going to be part of this. We cannot turn around and ask the school this project to make off-site improvements, which would be the sidewalks, which is why we essentially had the school board here telling us how they're going to bus kids until there is eventually a school. That would be taken up at probably a town council meeting, or if you wanted to bring that up to them.
So that would be then immediately to the town council, not necessarily to roadways.
This commission was worried about public safety
Sure.
for the kids that are on Marion Road.
Yeah.
And me anyways, as one commission member, heard from the two representing the school district that they will be bused. Any kids that have a problem walking down any of the streets that are unsafe without a sidewalk will be bused to the school. That's, as far as we are, that's good enough for this commission. So anything that has to do with off-site improvements on Marion Road or Jarvis Street or Moss Farms, that would probably be taken up at a town council meeting for you.
With regards to
Address the questions this way, and then I'll see if they want to take on the questions one at a time, or do you want to write them down and take them all at the end? It's up to you. I really don't care. So just you go ahead with your
Thank you, Mr.
questions.
Kurtz. With regards to distances for students traveling to and from the school, trying to establish walking zones, I saw that the initial graphics there were showing just as the crow fly radii of how to establish that. I think it might be more useful to do a by path adjustment for that. I realize that's a significantly bigger step. I don't know if that's how the school plan or how the school board plans to actually establish those zones. But it might be more useful to explore just how much of a lift it would be to explore actually seeing what half a mile by road, 3/4 of a mile by road, 1 mile by road is around the site, as opposed to just laying out circles.
I don't know how it's done. You guys can answer that question. I want you to take that right now if you could. Maybe it is done by as a crow flies. I'm sure he can give us an answer right now.
The map was as the crow flies, but in reality, we go pretty much driveway to driveway is the way we do it. Again, tonight was an illustration just to, give the commission a sense of what would we do today if that school were built and we didn't have sidewalks.
But again, that goes sort of to the off-site improvements that we just talked about.
Right.
So that would be another town council question to ask. And you have any more questions, please ask.
No, thank you, Mr. Kurtz. I think that covers me for now.
Okay, great. Any other commission or any other public members wishing to speak? No? Okay. All right, if the commission is set, there was a couple things that you said you were going to change on the plans. I think it was it just the fencing that they were talking about?
Put a separation or something.
Yeah, I mean, my idea was to close a public hearing tonight. We're not going to vote on, obviously, a lot of the stuff we just got.
Yeah.
And it's a lot to digest, but Is there any reason, any of the changes that they talked about tonight, where
We could handle Commissioner Mercado's request on adding the 2-foot shoulder. We put it as a condition of approval. The applicant agreed to it. If the commission also felt that, based on the testimony, you wanted a comment, also a condition on the busing of kids.
You know, I do want to ask one more question. Is there anything on this plan? This is the new plan that was received on Thursday. No other plans coming in. This is the final plan. And as far as staff is concerned, nothing needs to go back to the Wetlands Department on this plan that's in front of us right now.
Correct. There's no substantial changes which has resulted in additional regulated activities. It's consistent with their current approval with the Inland Wetlands Commission. So
Okay.
there's nothing stopping you from closing the hearing from that aspect alone, too.
This is not for, this is more for Mike. If the town decides to put in sidewalks on Marion or wherever they gotta do, does that come to this body to look at it and approve?
So that would be considered an extension of public infrastructure under Connecticut General Statute 824. You would have an 824 referral. Do you remember Cheshire Street? You had the sidewalk plan that went through, that came through as a referral from the council for review and consistency with the plan of conservation development. So in that sense, yes, you'll know about that project, but it won't be a site plan or public hearing. It would be a referral through 824.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, last chance. Anyone up here? No? You're all set? Done? Okay,
Yes.
I'm going to close the public hearing. Thank you. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn the public hearing. Move Mr. Kaderis, seconded by Mr. Mercado. All those in favor? Aye. All right, moving on, I'm going to open up, I'm going to reopen the planning and zoning public hearing, regular meeting. Can I get a motion to accept the minutes from the public hearing and regular meeting from January 22nd, 2024? Motion by Mr. Mercado, second by Mr. Natale. Any discussion, corrections, anything on the minutes? No? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Motion carries unanimously. Under communications tonight, everyone got the Federation of Planning and Zoning Agencies quarterly newsletter. With that, I think is an invitation to the AquaTurf for a dinner, 28th of March maybe. Just let town staff know if you plan on attending, and they will take care of it. Correct? Anything else? No, we did not take care of the Stonebridge Crossing subdivision performance bond. Do you have something for that?
Yeah, you have a letter dated January 20th requesting a reduction of the bond. This has been reviewed by the town engineer. We're okay with the reduction. I have a motion. If you're
The town engineer's okay with it?
Yep.
I'm okay with it.
motion to approve Stonebridge Crossing subdivision performance bond reduction.
Moved by Mr. Natale. Seconded by Mr. Kaderis. Discussion on this motion. Town engineer's in favor of it. I'm in favor. They're the ones. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Mr. Hilsinger abstaining. The motion carries 801. Took care of number 1, 2, 3, 4. All are closed. We're not doing anything with it. New business we took care of. Setting the public hearing for, I would believe that's the Norton School, right?
In March.
2, 3, 4, and we're doing that in March 11th?
Mhm.
Okay. Is there anything else to come before this commission?
Just a reminder, in 2 weeks, we'll be downstairs for the kickoff meeting with the consultant for the POCD. And then starting in March, the start time for the commission meetings will be 7 p.m.
Yes, there was a lot of questions about that.
So
Sorry about the
I'll
confusion.
I'll send an email. We'll make
John,
sure
I saw
when
your email late. I'm
packet
sorry. I
comes
saw it
out.
sitting here, so.
So apologize for, I'll take the hit for the confusion.
No, I just think it'll be so much better 7 o'clock rather than 7:30, but so beginning with our first meeting in March. And he's gonna remind us every single chance you get that we're gonna start at 7 o'clock, right?
The two of us
We probably have to notice it in the papers and stuff too with all the,
We will have, yeah.
Okay.
Town website, that's all I checked.
Town website?
Town website had it at 7:30, so that's why.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
We'll update everything.
Mr. Todd.
Couple things. The gravel yard across from Dunkin' Donuts, what's going on?
So, Mr. Stroll issued, that has an open enforcement case. The owner was preparing an application to come back to the commission. I
We've
can
been
check
hearing
with
that for
him.
months, though.
Drag that out.
I will check up with Mike on that to see to get an answer in 2 weeks for you, okay?
What was the time before, and has that elapsed, and we should just?
The time it has elapsed, and also, when we gave him the cease and desist, we gave him time to come in with a plan for.
No more talking.
We'll send it to the next step would be sending it to the attorney.
Second thing, I mentioned during the last public hearing about, referring their traffic study over to the police department. Is that something that we can do?
We do that. We do that.
They review it too, right? Because
Yeah.
they review
We're
it
part of the review team. That's why.
Yeah, no, I
that's-
know,
In particular, this one, you saw Kevin's emails, like really what they focused in on this one was that the pedestrian crossing, but I know we don't want to talk about that since it's
Yep, no, not part of that. I just know that we have a
Yeah.
good traffic study that shows that the speeds are outrageous on Marion Road.
So, and you also remember now, let's talk about that another time when we don't have this pending application, because I think it's a police matter which would be handled through enforcement. Should the thing be approved there, then obviously speed zones change. 'cause
And,
it's a school zone.
I'm not necessarily talking about this application. I'm just, in general,
In general, yes.
speeds are outrageous there, and, there was a traffic study done.
What is the speed limit there?
25.
25.
And what would it be if it's a school or you don't?
25.
25.
Oh, so.
Even in school zone, it goes down, it doesn't go down lower than 25?
It's 25.
But they said that the 85th percentile is 42. So, and just last thing, again, can we meet our town council liaison? Can you invite him to come?
Okay.
Maybe to say hi?
I'll ask if you'd like to come to the next, what do you call it? I'll tell him the guy before and brought hot dogs.
All joking aside, I think it would be good for us
Yeah.
to, he's new on the town council, and, be nice to meet him.
Greg will come. He'll definitely come. Greg.
Okay, anything else come before the commission tonight? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Cudera, seconded by Mr. Selma, and everyone's in favor.